Good morning, everyone. I'm going to draw from probably the oldest book in the Bible, the book of Job. We're going to talk about God, just in case we're not quite sure of how big and powerful He is. We're going to read a quick summation out of Job 38, starting in verse 1. This is after everything's already gone on, so kind of a summary of what God can do. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, "Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me." So Job's wanting to know, who's doing all this? "Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? If they're foundations, they have to be tied to something. And who laid its cornerstone?" These are all rhetorical questions. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy, or who shut in the sea with doors? When it burst forth, it issued from the womb. When I made the clouds in garment, the thick darkness in swaddling band, when I fixed my limit for it and set bars and doors, when I said, "This far you may come, but no further," and here your proud waves must stop. A lot of the stuff is figurative as far as God set the boundaries for the oceans. Have you commanded, in 12, have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked shall be shaken out of it? It takes on form like clay under a seal, and stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you entered the springs of the sea, or have you walked in search of the depths? Do you know what fills it? Do you know how deep it is? All these things, of course, God would know. Or have you seen the doors of the shadow of death? Have you comprehended the breadth of the earth? Tell me, you know all this. Don't question God. He created everything. Where is the way to the dwelling of light and darkness? Where is its place? That you may take it to its territory, that you may know the paths to its home. Do you know it because you were born then? Were you alive when I created all this? This is twisted a little bit. There. Yeah, I'm in my tent. There's enough of a breeze blowing I can't film. So this is fine. Or because the number of your days is great. Are you old so you saw all this? Have you entered the treasury of snow, or have you seen the treasury of hail, which I reserve for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and of war? By what way is light diffused, or the east wind scattered over the earth? Who has divided a channel from the overflowing water, or a path from the thunderbolt? Everything that's going on around us, God is intimately involved in. He's omnipresent. He has to be involved in everything that we see and hear on this earth and in this universe. He's omnipresent. Omnipotent would be the proper word. To cause it to rain on a land where there is no one, Why bother to reign if there's no one there? A wilderness in which there is no man, to satisfy the desolate waste and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass. Who has begotten the drops of dew? Obviously, God did all that. From whose womb comes the ice, and the frost of heaven, who gives its birth. The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the cluster of Pleiades? Now we're up in the stars. There's a group of stars called the Pleiades. You can see them with the naked eye. Or loose the belt of Orion. They knew about the constellations back then when this was written. They haven't changed in a few thousand years. They might have changed in a few billion years, but not in a few thousand. Can you bring out Mazzaroth in its season, or can you guide the great bear with its cubs? The Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Do you know the ordinance of the heavens? Can you set their dominion over the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds, that an abundance of water may cover you? Can you send out lightnings, that they may go and say to you, here we are, and put wisdom in the mind? Can you put wisdom in the mind? No. Or has given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds by wisdom? Or who can pour out the bottles of heaven? Make it rain. When the dust hardens into clumps and the clods cling together, can you hunt the prey for the lion? Now we're getting into the animal kingdom. Or satisfy the appetite of the young lions when they crouch in their dens, or lurk in their lairs and lie in wait? Who provides food for the raven when its young cries to God and wonder about their lack of food? We have a New Testament reference to this about the lilies of the field, so lovely, and God clothes them. Don't worry about your daily stuff. God deals with all this stuff. But these are, in Job 38, it's a look at the universe, essentially, all the way down to us down here. And God created and designed every bit of it. So we can't question God. We can, but I mean, why? Why would we question God? We can't do any of these things. Now, we might be able to make a cloud inside of a cloud chamber. We can do that. But we've learned in the old Saturn V assembly building, they could literally have a cloud form in the top of it, and it could rain inside the assembly building. I would assume SpaceX would have to deal with the same problem. But we're really not in the planet building or universe building. Only God is. Now we're in His image. We haven't the knowledge to even begin to attempt to do this. On top of it, we're not omnipresent. We can't micromanage everything the way God can. So the next time you talk to God, be very respectful, because everything we have, He's created. He's even created the bad stuff. He may have created it good, but if it went bad, He created Lucifer. Lucifer's gone bad. He didn't create the bad Lucifer. He created the good Lucifer. He doesn't create bad things. He only creates good things. When He created the universe, you look in Genesis, at the very end, and God looked, and it was all good. It didn't stay good. And thus we're talking about it. But God would prefer everything good. You're hearing the birds up here. They're running their own little world up there that God set up for them. I'm not involved in it. I couldn't be. We try to help animals and other creatures like that, and we usually mess things up because we don't understand how to deal with things. Some environmentalists will get out and go, you can't kill the deer in this area, leave them alone. So they come up with an ordinance saying no hunting. Next thing they know, the deer are starving to death. They're dying because their numbers have gotten so great that there's not enough food supply. We play God very badly when we try to do it. So trust God. Have the faith that He knows what He's doing, and if He's got a plan for you, accept it and run with it. Okay, this is a short message again because I'm working this week. And hopefully I'll get back on schedule after that. I don't know that I'm working the rest of the month, but I know I've just booked one day in May on the same job I'm on now. So it's still continuing, but I don't know my schedule. I like the job, I like the work, so I'll stay with it. I'm not taking any other work. I've had other offers come in, and I like this particular job. I don't know if I will like the others. I get to be picky that way. That's good. Not everybody gets to choose their work. But I put in a good amount of work in my life, so I'm entitled to be selective now. If you're still young, you haven't been the routes that old people have. We survive because we are made strong. God makes us strong. Otherwise, we couldn't survive what goes on. All right, until we meet in the clouds, God bless.